Hi, this is Robert. This is another tribute tutorial. Today I'm going to show you some of the props features, and I will also show you the music slot stuff at the end, as that's quite a quick one. Um, so I've got tribute open here on the right, and I've got my tribute folder behind it, as you can see. So when you run tribute, you're going to go to option 7 for the add props to matches and arenas. So this window is for adding props to a match or to an arena. So the props that you're adding here, they're either already in the game, vanilla props, or they're ones that you have mapped into the game, that are mod props or whatever. So in this, you can add the prop to a match type like table, ladder, etc., or you can actually add it to an arena. The arena stuff is a little bit more complicated, as you've got to extract the arena def JSFB file and put that in your bake me folder in the correct folder path, edit it here, and then bake it again. So it's a bit more complicated, so I'm not really going to cover that in detail in this tutorial, but you can ask about that in the Discord if you want to do that. But for this tutorial, the most common use, you'll be adding these to match types, unless you're like an arena creator in general. So I can choose the table match, and so the next section is your prop ID. So for this, you can actually select a prop from the list. If you're using one of these basic props, I'll probably add more to this list later on, to save you some time, but in general you probably want to just add the prop ID manually. So these IDs are for props that are already mapped into the game, so your vanilla props or mods that you've already mapped in. So you can go into your tribute help files folder, and you will find a text file called proplist.txt, and this will show you the IDs of all the props, all the vanilla props in the game. A lot of these won't work, so you'll have to just test, or they won't work as you expect, and some of them might be entrance props and stuff like that, so you can have a play around, just see what works for you. But a lot of them will work, but you'll have to experiment a bit. So if I want to add a chair, that's just ID 4, as you can see here. So I can just put 4 here. Or if I did use the drop down, this is the same as entering ID 4 for the chair. So your prop state, this is basically how the prop's going to start in the match. So ground is like for your chair or your table, where it's just flat on the ground. Then you've got setup table. It's pretty self-explanatory, really. Setup, same with a ladder. Your chair setup, that's just a chair that's set up in the seated position. And you've got corner props, like if it's props in the corner, it's leaned on the wall, probably for like backstage stuff or something. Set up 1/4 height. Leaned 1 and lean 2, it's like if 2 of the legs are collapsed and 2 aren't, so it's kind of leaning, if that makes sense. Or for an advanced option, if you know more prop state IDs, you can enter them manually. For example, 15,000 is the ground state, but in general you'll just use these drop downs. So start from blank slate. This means, so yeah, with this window, whenever you hit add prop, you're going to be adding a prop into the match. So if you have start from blank slate ticked when you press add prop, then this prop you're adding now will be the first one. In other words, any props that you already added to this match type will be deleted, and this will be the first one added. So whenever you want to start over, make sure you have this ticked, basically. So then you got your coordinates, location, and rotation. So X, Y. If you look at this map on the right, you can see a rough idea of how these coordinates line up with what you'll see in the arena or the match. So if I have X0, Y0, this will put the prop in the center of the ring. Your Z is your height, so the ring is raised off the ground by 105 on the Z axis. As you can see, top left corner of the map, it gives you a little key there to show you. So that'll be, so 00105 will actually put my chair in the center of the ring at that height. Some of the props, the height will be slightly different depending on the state. So if my chair was set up, this would be right. But for some reason, a flat chair is slightly sunk down into the ground. So you might want to have it at 110, otherwise it'll be clipped into the ring. So you'll have to experiment a bit with that for certain props. But most stuff will be 105. So your rotation, in general, you only really want to mess with your Z-axis rotation. If you want to change which direction something's facing, like a table, you want to turn the table like 90 degrees. Do it on the Z-axis, that's the up and down axis. Or you want your chair to face a different direction. You know, you can have it face the opposite direction with 180 or something like that. So that's pretty much what you need. So if I hit add prop now, that will actually add that prop into the table match type for me. So it says success, prop added. So the next thing I'll show you is the edit props button. So when I hit this, you will get a new window. So this menu is basically just going to show you all the props that you've already added to the match type or the arena if you're doing that. And it will allow you to remove ones you don't want. And it will also let you export the props you've added into a props profile that you can share or import to a different match type. And it will also let you import props profiles. So if I hit load prop list here, you can see there's one prop in the table match, and that's the prop we just added. So this is what a props profile line looks like. So this line here represents a prop. So you've got prop, and then it's 4 is the ID, that's the chair, and 0, 0, that's your XY, then 105, if you remember, that was our Z-axis height, then 0, 0, 180, that was our rotation coordinates, then 1, 1, 1 is the scale. But you'll notice I don't have an option anymore for scale when you added it. That's because it doesn't really affect anything. If you actually want to scale a prop, you need to do it in Blender, really. It has no effect changing that here. And then 15,009, 15009 is the prop state. So that's the chair setup state is 15009. So if I want to get rid of that, I can click it. I can just hit remove. You know, that will refresh the list as well. Or if I hit load, you'll see that it's gone. So if I do have a props profile already saved, or I've downloaded one, I can put the file name in here and then hit import. So here's one I made earlier. So this is the steps and scaffold props profile. So that needs to be in the props profile folder in Tribute. So as you can see, it's in there, and I need to get the file name minus the extension, and I'm going to enter that in Tribute. So steps and scaffold, and I'm going to hit import, and that will add all the props in that props profile into the table match as I've got that selected at the top. Yep, so you can see all those are now loaded in. And if I wanted to, I could change the file name and hit export. So anything I've got in here, I can export into my own props profile. As you can see, we've got a second one created now. So this is just useful really for adding them in bulk or saving them for later, or just removing ones you don't want anymore. So the other feature I'll show on here is the open create prop window at the top under the title there. So click that. So I'll probably actually rename what this is called, because this is actually for mapping props. So I'll probably change it to map new prop just for clarity. So what you'll notice with Tribute, it's going to come with a bunch of props already in your Bake-Me folder, props folder. So these props have already been mapped for you. So you don't need to add these with the create prop. They're already in the mapping file. So you can actually just add them into a match type or arena straight away with the ID. So like 9350 is the ID, etc. So those are all already mapped and ready to go. But if you have another prop that you made or you downloaded and you want to map it into your game, you're going to want to use this create new prop / mapping window. So when you map a prop, it's going to go into props data asset map. So for a prop to appear in game, it has to be mapped into this file, and Tribute is going to do that for you. So say for instance this ring bell 9357 was a prop we downloaded, and it's got all its files inside, but we hadn't had it mapped. So I'll just show you how to map it. So the prop ID, so it's going to be 9357. So with your prop IDs, I recommend, these can be anything you want, but you want to avoid duplicating IDs. You don't want to get the vanilla IDs, so make sure they're quite high numbers. But the props I put out are like 9355 and 9358, that kind of area. So if you make yours like 9500 and so forth, that's probably a good idea, so you're not going to have any duplicates. So we're imagining that this one doesn't already exist in the map file. So 9357 prop name, this is not really important, it's just how it's identified within the mapping file itself, so it's not that important. So I just put anything you want really. Don't put any weird characters in there though, just put a word, don't have it too long. So anim set, it's what this prop is based on. So this is quite important. So you'll notice with a prop, it's got a particular prop config with it in general. So for example, say I made a new prop that's based on the chair. So it looks a bit like a chair. I want it to animate a bit like a chair. Maybe it's a barbed wire chair or something like that. My prop config is probably going to be taken from the chair, just so it can inherit all those kind of animations and sound effects from the chair. And then here, I need to put the correct anim set as well. So you've got your prop config and your anim set are quite important for creating your prop. And then your MDL hash, MTLS hash, config, any textures and havoc are going to be just telling the mapping where these files are. So these are your important files. MDL is your model file, etc. So if you click this folder button, you can find the files, and it will generate the hashes automatically for you. So here, if I find the props folder that I wanted to map, this 9357 ring bell, and I will find the MDL, click that, click open, and that will automatically generate the hash ID I need. And then I will do the same with the MTLS. So if your prop doesn't have a config file, like if it just doesn't need one, it's just like a static prop that's not going to be interactable, you can just hit no config and that will grey out this field. Otherwise, you want to just find that as well. So I will just select the config file and generate the hash. So textures hash and havoc hash will be automatically generated for you. Just make sure that your textures folder and havoc folder are in the same directory as your other files that you've mapped. Just make sure everything's in the same folder. So if you know this prop is designed to be on the weapon wheel, then you can also map that stuff as well. STB hash, you're going to get this from an STB editor, so it's just the name that it's going to appear in game. Then your render hash and your weapon wheel render hash, you will find those in your files as well if you had those, just so it's got renders basically. So that's just the same as finding the files that you did previously, and then you would hit create prop. I'm not going to do that now as it's already mapped for you, this one, as I said. So don't do this with the ring bell prop, it's already mapped. This is only for if you're trying to add new props that someone else has modded or you made yourself. So that is pretty much how to use the props features. Just make sure you bake your bake me folder as usual before trying to get these in game. So I will also show you quickly how to add the custom music. So basically, if you go into your tribute folder, into your extras, you'll see a new folder called music slots require files. So you're going to take your music.pack, music 9 and music 10 and put these into your game folder's sound directory. So it should look like this. You'll see all your other packs in there. So you literally just paste those in. You can see I've already done that, music 9, music 10. And music pack is already in there, so it will overwrite. So you might want to back this up first before you paste it in. That's up to you. But either way, you're going to need to overwrite that with the one included with Tribute. And then this custom data XML, this is actually for use with the sound editor. So when you load up these new packs, music 9 and music 10, you'll be able to see the titles and your IDs that you need for Tribute. So this custom data.xml, you need to put that into your sound editor folder. So I'm just going to yep, so this is your sound editor folder. Mine's in program files. And if you go up to database and then go to WWE 2K24, you want to replace this custom data.xml file if you've got one. If not, still just put it in this folder. So I want to put the tribute file into here and overwrite if you've got one already. And then in sound editor, you can open up one of these new pack files and see what you need to replace. So let me just show you in Tribute then, so you can see what I'm talking about. So in Tribute, if I want to add new music track to the game. I'm going to go to 8 to the extras menu. Then I'm going to go to option 6 for the add music theme slot. And that will give me this new window. So there's 3 fields: there's your music ID, the title, and your cue point. So with the music ID, I want to choose one of these new tracks in Music 9 or Music 10. So I'll just reorder these. So say I want to overwrite this one, placeholder theme 002. I would literally drag my audio file and drop it in here to replace this placeholder theme 002. And that will put the music into the game. And then I need to take this ID here, which is actually just 2, so I can map it into the game. And then title is what's going to appear in the game when you are selecting the music for your entrance of victory. So it can just be anything I want. It doesn't need to be an SDB entry or anything like that. So cue point is the point in seconds where the song will loop to, or if you have a victory motion. So say for example, like with the Fiend's entrance music has like a countdown at the beginning. So you don't want that countdown to happen again if the music loops around, if his entrance is too long. Or when his victory scene plays, you don't want the countdown on that, obviously. So say that ends after 10 seconds. I can just put 10 or 10.5 seconds for the cue point. So that means on the entrance, the song will start at the beginning. But in the victory scene, the song will start at 10 and a half seconds in. So that's basically what the cue point is. Then I just hit add music track. And that is it. That's done. And you just need to bake your folder, obviously, as usual. But that's it. Okay, that's everything I'm going to cover for today. There'll be some more new updates soon, and I'll probably be updating the music track stuff soon as well. I know at the moment in Jukebox, some people are wanting the wrestler name as well as the music title to appear. So I'll probably split this title field into 2, so you can add both of those in. And I'll probably also put in some edit features so you can edit the vanilla tracks names as well if you've replaced those. Okay, that's everything for today. Thank you for watching. Bye.